Hey, today I'm going to talk about my empties. These are my perfume empties. I go through a lot of scents because I really enjoy wearing different scents and I do renew them throughout the day. My skin doesn't hold scent very well, so I'm forced to reapply pretty frequently unless the scent is very well lasting and powerful. So let's start. We'll start with this guy. This is Burberry London by Burberry. And this is an interesting concoction. I feel like it was very popular in its day. Currently, it is not the most expensive scent in Burberry line. It's pretty affordable. I have a 30 ml bottle here, and what did I think about it? This is not my favorite. This is a sort of bubble gum mixed with some white flowers. Pretty nondescript white flowers. They don't create an impression of a bouquet, but rather this smells like watermelon bubble gum, largely, to me. It is pretty powerful with good sillage and really a decent lasting power for a scent that is floral fruity. It is bordering on annoying because it screams off the skin. It's not gentle in any way. It's a bit screechy to me. However, if you are a big lover of bubblegum scents or very fruity fragrances, this could be totally up your alley. It can sound pretty nice on people, I'm sure, but I personally didn't find that this reflected anything that I wanted to reflect into this world. It was, for me, a bit too much fun. Not that I'm not against fun, I'm not a fun police, but this was just really didn't have much substance to it. It was loud, it was powerful, it was fruity, but there wasn't anything that connected with me in any kind of a deeper level. Next fragrance I want to discuss is this one. This is a very popular pick. It's Hanai Mori. This is not the toilette. I don't think it comes in the Eau de Parfum version. By the way, Burberry was an Eau de Parfum. The bottle is very cute. Not a fan of the Burberry bottle, by the way. This one is nice. It was another fruity bomb. There was something pretty creamy and a little bit woody in the base. It did have the whipping cream kind of sensation. Whipping cream with sugar. There's this underlying hum of it, and it was pretty pleasant. But the berries up top, they were really spoiling all the fun for me. And why they were spoiling all the fun for me, they were a bit screechy again, and they were quite synthetic to my taste. This didn't sound to me like authentic berries, but rather plastic equivalent in some kind of a cellophane wrapping. So this one again I wouldn't purchase, but I can see the appeal actually. These plastic berries on this creamy base do create an interesting concoction, but I don't think that it says anything that I want to say about myself, and it's a little bit maybe too little too late for me. It's not special enough, it's not interesting enough, it lasts okay, not super well, and the sillage is mild to moderate, I would say. Next scent is a Chloe, and this is Eau de Fleur lavender one. Lavande. This is very interesting. It smells a little bit powdery. It definitely has a lavender undertone. A gentle lavender powder, like a talcum powder from generations ago, maybe your great-grandmother used. Or maybe if dried lavender twigs or flowers were kind of left somewhere in an old attic in a package of powder. But it's not powdery like you would think, like a baby powder. That's not what it smells like. It smells like cosmetic powder from the 50s with a sprinkling of lavender. There's not much else going on in this fragrance. It's not very complicated. It's not a solid floor, but it is not very cerebral fragrance. It's very light. The sillage is almost non-existent. It's like a skin scent right away. The lasting power is light at best. It does not stay with you. It does not really remind you of itself past maybe an hour or two. No matter how much you spray, that was really surprising to me, that I could douse myself in it and still there wasn't really much happening. And it wasn't just my opinion, it actually dissipated quite quickly. So this one, I don't think I would spend the money on again, although it was an interesting experience and it was very, very gentle and ladylike and elegant. A fragrance that I loved. This was Roger Gallet, Fleur de Figuier. This scent was composed by Francis Kurkdjian, so of course this one does have something very special. It is a very sweet scent. It's a scent of sweet figs, grown somewhere 2,000 years ago, conserved and preserved in a sealed container of some sort, in some tomb. It is so beautiful. It is a figs, but not fig flowers, not fig leaves. It is figs like fruit, sugared and dried. It's very interesting fragrance, although not a complex one and not a cerebral one either, but it does have something very special, some Kurkdjian magic kind of added to it. This is another parfum. Lasting power is average, I would say, and projection is not bad. It's moderate medium. This is so interesting. I wouldn't wear it in the summer because it kind of suffocated me a little in the summer, but for fall, this is a fragrance find that I recommend you check out. Of course, don't buy fragrances without sniffing. You have to test them, and you have to test them on your skin. My skin amplifies sweetness in this, but this is a really lovely fig. If you're a fan of fig and a fan of sweet, you should try this. It's very beautiful, and the bottle is also quite cute as well. I really am not mad at it. It's nice. I would consider buying it again. This was a gift from my husband. Thank you to him. He does know that I enjoy scents, and it's very kind of him to pick up occasionally something nice for me. A little treat for my nose. Next, I have a fragrance that I was exceptionally disappointed with. And this is this Katy Perry Killer Queen, but it's this year's limited edition one, the spring one. You know, it's in pink packaging. I bought it because it was a steal on a huge discount. And I need to stop doing it because usually I get disappointed. And sometimes I don't, but usually, most times, I really do. They're discounted for a reason. This has no sillage. It has no lasting power. And it smells like cheap bubblegum and plastic rose. It's very disappointing. It's like plastic berries and plastic rose. It was pink, yes, it smelled pink, but it was really not special, like as generic as you can get. This was. I was very disappointed, very surprised that something like this could have a sign off by any perfumer out there. Any knows who would sign that off. It's ridiculous. So I would say a pass on that. Something I will not pass on. In fact, I don't even have this bottle finished, but I will be buying it again. Unfortunately, it started leaking, so the packaging is subpar. This is a David Yurman fragrance, and let me tell you, if you want a special, beautiful, voluptuous, delicious, not delicious in a sweet sense, but just in a sense of a completeness, fullness of experience of a rose, this is your guy. You want to try and give it a go if you're a rose fan. This is rose oil, beautiful, voluptuous, slightly oily fragrance that encapsulates the essence of rose. There are other ingredients here for sure, but they're very well blended. It's a very classic rose scent. It's wonderful. It smells quite expensive, like an expensive rose. It's a bit dewy, velvety rose petals. Just that's what you imagine, just rubbing those between your fingers. There's none of the vegetal greenness of the rose, and there are many beautiful fragrances that play off of that, and they incorporate this greenness into the scent and mix it with rose, and you get this dewy, fresh garden rose smell. This is not it. This is really the velvety petals over here, and it's phenomenal. This fragrance is for rose lovers by a rose lover, and it is definitely worth checking out if you want to sniff. It can be bought online if you cannot find it in the stores. The bigger bottle, this is the smallest bottle. The bigger bottle is interesting. It's all gold. I will be picking this up again. This just leaks all over me right now. My entire room smells like this. The sillage is really good. Very good throw. Very pretty long lasting. It's average to long lasting, somewhere between those two categories. And it sits beautifully on the skin. It doesn't develop in stages. I would say it kind of is fluid. It jumps around. So 1 minute you smell a bit more sweet, and 1 minute you smell a bit more dewy and a little wet rose. You know, it migrates. The scent migrates. It's a fascinating experience to smell this because it is very interesting. It's in the same family, I would say, as, for example, Juliette Has a Gun, Lady Vengeance, and maybe Agent Provocateur, L'Agent. This is their cousin. It's that kind of a rose experience. They're not very similar. I wouldn't say they're similar scents, but they evoke similar emotions in me. I prefer David Yurman because it has something that others don't. It has authenticity, and it's such a chameleon. It's such an interesting smell. I encourage you to go smell this, but unfortunately this bottle has to go.